Warning, the following video contains highly speculative information. This discussion is purely for entertainment purposes only, and none of what is presented should be taken as fact. Just try and sue me. It'll get ugly. Viewer discretion is advised. The stage has been set for Donkey Kong's debut on the Nintendo Switch after a hearty 7-year absence in the gaming space. It's happening. Sooner or later, I will die on this hill. Rumors of its existence are widespread, and although it's fairly common knowledge to Nintendo fans today, there is still an ocean of unknown information that has yet to be uncovered. I don't have that information to present to you today. However, we may potentially be able to infer some details on the direction of DK Switch based on existing Donkey Kong content. My friend Skips, who I have dubbed the DK Detective, has brought some very eye-opening details to my attention that I have not seen anyone discussing anywhere else. Details that may be incredibly valuable in discovering what DK Switch might have in store. So today, I've invited Skips to share and discuss his findings with me and all of you. Join us and share in the excitement for the Big Ape's next adventure in this deep dive expedition into DK speculation. All right, here we go. Welcome, Skips. Welcome to this little speculation video thing that we're doing. It's gonna be totally off the cuff. It's gonna be pretty chill. I know I did like a whole little elaborate intro, but
yeah, I was really surprised with it because like viewers don't know that I actually saw the intro before all of this, like a few hours before we started recording, and I did not expect it to be like my icon, or like that was like an old icon I had a while back, and like it just had Skips, the DK detective, and it has just me with like the pipe and like the little detective. I don't know what they call those specifically, but it was like, wow, it's like he's putting he's really hyping me up, and then when the viewers are gonna see this, they're like, wow, okay, this guy just sounds like an average guy, like he's just like talking.
Yeah, well, you know, you ran some really interesting information by me, you know, just based on a lot of Donkey Kong stuff that's already out there, and I really found it interesting, and I think it can provide some valuable insight into you know, maybe the sort of direction that Donkey Kong might be heading in moving forward. Now again, it's all very speculative. We're you know, don't take anything that we're saying too seriously right now.
Yeah.
But
yeah, because like if we say like, oh, Kiddy Kong has potential to be in this, like I don't want you guys to like lose sleep over that tonight, so don't worry. It's like let's take this up as you will. This is like the tinfoil hat that has like extended to like a 10-gallon hat of tinfoil. So like you gotta like understand, we are not responsible for like exceeding your expectations for something that we don't know much about. So
yeah, exactly. You know, if anything, I'm probably gonna hype myself up by doing this whole thing, and then like the new game's gonna come out, and it's gonna look like, I don't know, Bubsy 3D or something.
We're already watching E3 2021. It's like, oh, Nintendo EPD, they were working on that new Chibi Robo environmental 3D game. They got it confused. Donkey Kong's just a stand-in when he has like a poster in the background. That's where we go.
All right, well, yeah, I guess we'll just kind of, I don't know, we'll just kick it off from the top. We've got some notes here to kind of guide us along. There's some very interesting stuff, so I hope if we haven't scared you off already, that you stick around for all this goodness.
Yeah, we're not like the other like Nintendo channels who's like, oh, this Nintendo EPD, they're just doing Donkey Kong. All right, that's the next topic. All right, Zelda, gotta talk more about that. You know,
exactly. Yeah,
we're giving you the meat.
Bunch of
Donkey Kong.
Yeah, bunch of Donkey Kong nutcases over here.
Yeah.
But all right, so I guess we'll just kind of kick it off from the top. You know, you kind of came to me about like some of the Universal promotional art that was going around, and you know, you made it a point of telling me how you know, Bowser Jr. has his paintbrush back again in one of the Super Nintendo World promotional art pieces, and you know, that's interesting because for one thing, that hasn't been around since like the GameCube era, right? Like I don't think it outlived the GameCube.
Yeah, I think the funny thing is that I think it was before Bowser's Fury like came out. Is that like Nintendo World? They were teasing a bunch of Nintendo World stuff. Like I think the month before, like it was like officially open to the public, and I recall seeing like Bowser Jr. with the paintbrush again, like and saying, "Oh, why does he have this? Does he just have this for this theme park?" But then once the stuff for Bowser's Fury came out and you saw him with the paintbrush, it's like, are they probably using like stuff that has already been planned or stuff like that, like for projects already, like, you know, they're using the paintbrush again. It's like, oh, okay, well, that's very interesting way of teasing it, or like before it came out.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and you know, and then you know, like you said, it showed up in 3D World plus Bowser's Fury then, and yeah, that was very interesting. It kind of makes me wonder if maybe that's going to be kind of like a constant, you know, part of his character portrayal moving forward. That'll be kind of interesting to see, but
I really hope so, because it's better than like him just being like stuck to the clown car like all the time.
Yeah, definitely. And so, you know, like, the Bowser Jr. thing, I'm sure a lot of people are like, you know, what the heck are they talking about? This isn't Donkey Kong. It kind of ties into DK because, you know,
Mario gone to Arlo for this one.
You know, there were some leaked Donkey Kong assets from the Nintendo World app, you know, and it contained DK, and I think it was DK and Diddy, right, in the minecart.
Yeah.
And the design of the minecart actually does not fully resemble Retro Studios' minecart design. The design actually more closely resembles Rareware's minecart designs, most notably from like DK64.
Yeah, it has like that shape. Yeah, it has like that.
Yeah, and you know, it's almost like the more I look at it, it's almost kind of more like a blend of the two designs, because like the DK64 minecart's a little taller, and like the Retro Studios one's a little shorter, but like, you know, it's only got that one headlight on the front of it, which is, you know, more of like the DK64's, you know, the minecart look. So
yeah. And it's very interesting because, like, as soon as I saw that, it's like, wait a minute. Like, that's why, like, those whole set of images I gave you, like, that's why I, like, dubbed it Minecart Theory. Like, in terms, like, because then it just started, like, a whole wildfire of me, like, scanning through, like, recent, like, stuff that had Donkey Kong stuff in it to kind of, like, put the pieces of the puzzle to, like, figure out, like, what type of game, like, what kind of stuff are we going to expect to see from this new Donkey Kong by EPD?
Right.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely. It's interesting because based on like all the leaks and things, it looks like the Universal Park for DK it's going to be pretty heavily themed around Retro Studios Donkey Kong. But you know, then we have this minecart, which is, you know, kind of looking closer to you know, something out of Rareware's book.
That's true, but you have to, I think, like, you have to understand too, maybe because like the Retro Studios assets for the DK theme park, that was like a work in progress, because like who knows how much has changed in terms of like the designs and stuff after like everything that's been happening with like the Smash Ballot with K. Rool's Resurgence, and like Nintendo finally opening their eyes, saying, people like the Rareware creations that were given to us back in the 90s. Well, gotta reconstruct everything now.
Right, yeah, that's true. And you know, that's kind of what makes me wonder, like, you know, maybe you know, like maybe this isn't just, you know, like a coincidence. You know, like maybe this is going to be, you know, kind of like the minecart design moving forward, you know, sort of blending the two designs, which we're going to see a lot of throughout this discussion, a lot of blending of designs. That's something that well, and we'll definitely get more into that as we come across it, but you know, based on like the rumors and leaks that have been making the rounds, you know, it's a pretty safe bet that Nintendo EPD is probably developing this new Donkey Kong game. I don't want to say anything definitive, but you know.
Yeah, because like as soon as like you have those clickbait articles saying, "Oh, the Mario Odyssey, they are doing Donkey Kong," it's like, well, that's not that true of the statement. I don't you don't want to like mislead people,
right?
Because every video that now has talked about this game, like now they're saying, oh, it's strictly the Mario Odyssey team, but they don't understand that Nintendo EPD has multiple types of teams at their disposal to like make games like in-house for Nintendo.
Right, exactly. I know, like, yeah, there's, yeah, again, multiple teams. I think there's like multiple factions of like EPD, you know, studios too. Like, this one specifically, I think is like EPD Studio 7 or something like that. Like, there's, you know, there's like a bunch of different Nintendo EPD divisions. So, you know, to say that, you know, it's the Odyssey team, it's kind of, it's a little bit disingenuous because, it may not be that specific team developing this game, just a team within, you know, the EPD division. So
I think it's because like most people just assume that don't follow that much in terms of like the insides of Nintendo. Just assume, oh, Nintendo EPD is just that one team that does like the Mario 3D games, like nothing else. But no, they do like a lot. They've done like, they do Splatoon. They do what else have they done? They have done have they done ARMS? Has EPD done ARMS?
I think so. Yeah, yep. And they've helped out with like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and stuff like that too, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. They help out the Mario Kart team.
Yeah, so I mean, like, you know, they make it around. It's not like they just make Mario and that's it. So, you know, it's unfortunately some kind of misinformation that goes around, which I think is setting expectations on the wrong course for this new game. But
people are expecting, this. It's funny because now people before like all of this stuff, like all these rumors, like got sent out to all these like casual and like all these like big YouTubers and stuff that weren't even like fathoming the idea of like talking about Donkey Kong, and now people are saying, oh, DK has to now be this. It's like saying if you were just given a gift and then like you strictly like tell the person what they should improve on with it, like, you know, you should just give me this, like it should have like this on it, like, you know, it's like you guys were talking about it before, like why are you guys like now expecting DK to be this now, like what are you even talking about, like crying?
Yeah, exactly. I know, like that's something that has I guess, I don't want to say like got on my nerves, but I guess it kind of did, that, you know, like we have all these people all of a sudden, you know, throwing their opinions into the ring about like what this game needs to be, even though that like nobody aside from Donkey Kong fans have even been concerned with Donkey Kong up until this point. But like now all of a sudden it's public information, or, you know, public knowledge that, okay, there might be a Donkey Kong on the way, and everybody's got to throw their hat into the ring. And, you know, if it's not this one specific way, then I don't want it. I don't want to play it.
There's no Kiddy Kong. Can't even be bothered. I've been waiting since '96 for that guy to return. Hasn't even showed up. I mean, there was that Game Boy port, and that was like the second video game I bought throughout my whole life living on this earth. But like, what's the point? Like, why should I invest in this Donkey Kong?
We definitely need more Kiddy Kong. We definitely need more Kiddy Kong in the wild.
Our next big topic, the character or the thing that sparked this whole resurgence of Donkey Kong, like starting to become like a big IP once again. So I don't know if you know, Al, but apparently back in 2015, us, the Smash fans, were given like the opportunity to vote a character into Super Smash Brothers. And what did you know it that Bayonetta won the whole ballot, and it was pretty amazing. But you know, I think they were lying when that happened. Because you know who I think won the ballot? I think it was Wolf. I think Wolf definitely won the ballot that time. But to be honest, the Smash ballot definitely was like an eye-opener, not just like in terms of like getting King K. Rool into Smash, but like more or less like an eye-opener for Nintendo to like, we have all these characters that Rareware made for us. Like back then, it's like apparently people still love these characters. I thought they disliked these characters, like from back then. So now Nintendo, ever since like King K. Rool has like made this big impact on the Smash ballot, like back in like 2015 to I think, like, it was only for like 2015. They didn't go into like early 2016, because in 2015 they gave that the deadline for the Smash ballot. But like Nintendo was so surprised by such like this popularity for this character that they assumed they didn't realize how much of a fan base he had, considered like they weren't made by him, they were made by Rare. So it's assumed like, because way back in the 2000s, Nintendo was just going on and off with like Donkey Kong characters and stuff, like, because you had them in the spin-offs like Donkey Konga, you had like the Rare characters like in the Pion games, and then you just had Jungle Beat, a Donkey Kong game, which was also made by EPD, by the way, had all these new original characters and stuff, and people just assume like, oh, maybe they don't want to see the Rare characters, they'd rather see something new made by us. So that's why they didn't even bother like putting them in the setting of Jungle Beat, like and stuff like that.
Yeah, and you know, and Nintendo has like very strict like guidelines as far as like what kinds of characters they can implement nowadays to like Mario-centric type games. Like I say that, but you know, like Donkey Kong is its own separate thing. But at the same time, you know, like it's close enough, I guess, that they still have those strict guidelines. And you know, like the Kremlings, I believe I had heard that, you know, Nintendo was kind of against putting them in some of the more modern games. They wanted to like essentially, I don't know if I want to say reboot Donkey Kong in terms of its like image and stuff like that, but well, at the very least, like the Kremlings were not allowed to come out and play for a
I guess
while.
like it was like kind of like a reimagining, because that's what DKC 1 kind of was, like a reimagining of the first one, but not really.
Right.
It's kind of like it was its own thing, but like a reimagining to reintroduce like the idea, the concept of Donkey Kong Country to like a new group of gamers. And it definitely did work, because that's how I became a fan to this day, because DKC Returns is like how I got into the series, actually.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, so like now with King K. Rool and his grand reappearance in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, you know, we can kind of see that his look and his design has combined sort of like the best elements of his like old school Rareware design and his like newer Payon, or however it's pronounced.
Yeah, he has the proportions
redesign.
he has the proportions of the Payon design and like a reconstructed face, because if you look at the base Payon K. Rool design, he kind of doesn't look, he kind of looks more like a frog instead of like a crocodile. That's why luckily like the Smash team was able to like touch up his face, which is hopefully that touched up face will like remain, it will blend into his modern design in terms of like how he looked back then. I'm sure like you'll put up a picture like comparing the two, like look to my left, like it's obviously it's not here, but like in the video maybe I'll put it, like you'll see left Payon K. Rool and the right you'll see the Smash Ultimate K. Rool. Like you definitely tell like there is a bit of changes compared to the two, which I hope stays when they finalize like a modern design for K. Rool if he shows up in this new Donkey Kong game.
Yeah, I think so too. And you know, like I think I've mentioned this before. Maybe I haven't, not in this discussion anyway. But Smash is the kingmaker, you know, and we have King K. Rool back in Smash, back in video games after a decade-long absence. Like this is like the standard. This is probably the basis for King K. Rool's modern depiction from here on out. Like his Donkey Kong design may not be one-to-one with his Smash design. I would almost put money down that it won't be, but I think that at the very least they're going to take elements of you know, his Smash design and implement that into his like main DK series design moving forward, you know. So like we'll probably see that golden belly stick around. It's you know, one of the most iconic parts of his repertoire in Smash beside his crown, if you ask me.
You know, something funny the other day I thought of how it's going to be 4 years like since Ultimate has come out, and it's funny, around that time span back when Brawl came out is when we got Kid Icarus Uprising, and that's when Pit came back first in Brawl, and then like 4 years later he was in a new game with like the new modern design and stuff like that. Yeah, it's very interesting to think about. I also want to go back to like I wanted to talk about with the Clown Car game of Bowser Jr. So now after Smash, it seemed to notice, and this happens with a bunch of other franchises too, especially with Kirby. I hope you don't notice that Meta Knight actually, ever since Smash 4, he's had gauntlets on his hands in newer Kirby games now. And in terms of the design he had in Smash 4, it has now lead into the Kirby games. And stuff like Diddy, after being put into Brawl, Diddy has always been locked to like peanut pop guns or like his jetpack when it comes to being in a new Donkey Kong game. As we saw with Country Returns and Tropical Freeze, he was mapped to like the jetpack with a backpack, and then we had like the pop gun. And also with Bowser Jr. with the Clown Car, you see Jr. a lot more often in his Clown Car in terms of some of the Mario spin-offs, like Tennis Ace is a good example too. And I hope a cool little detail actually, in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, the Clown Car actually opens up, like, you know how like you go through the anti-gravity sections and stuff like that in Mario Kart? So the Clown Car, it actually has like, it basically functions like the Smash version of the Clown Car, where like it has like different like the tool, you know how like in Smash it summons the drills and stuff like from the Clown Car, like when he does like the it's kind of like that in Mario Kart 8, but it summons like the propellers like when you're on water, like when you're in anti-gravity, like it's stuff like that, like they take cues from Smash Brothers. All these franchises take stuff that have come from Smash, or they're like Smash is taken from like stuff that has been in development or stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely. And I definitely think that we could see, something like that moving forward too, with some of the various things that we have seen within, Smash in terms of like the Donkey Kong stuff. And especially with K. Rool and his design, like I mentioned, I'm sure we'll probably see more of that moving forward. I could see them doing something similar with the Kremlings then too, kind of like you had mentioned to me prior to this. Like maybe implementing like the shoulder pads or something on the Kremlings just to
but really like the Critter, especially for Critter who used to have like shoulder pads like in his rare design, but now, as you saw like recently, Critter like in the Pion design, it feels like a mix between like it's new, it's like a new design, but it takes cues from like DKC1 and like Donkey Kong 64, like the skull belt, like that was on DK64 Kremlings, like into like its own thing. Like they give him a pair of like beige pants, it's like they call it a day. Like put him in pants with the belt.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess we can kind of jump into the next sort of portion here. Still very Smash centric, but it almost feels like there might be a little bit of a retcon going on here with like some of Retro's stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely like it's funny because after like replaying or like re-looking at the Retro games, they're great games. I love Tropical Freeze a lot. Don't get me wrong, they're Retro Returns, Tropical Freeze are fantastic games, but they don't really feel like Donkey Kong Country in a way.
Exactly. I was just having this conversation recently with somebody else as well, where like they are fantastic games and I love them, but like they don't really capture the same kind of like tone and essence that like those old school Donkey Kong Country games did.
Yeah, it's like a good example of that. I think a good example, it's like if they made Mario like a new 2D Mario platform is like it felt like Mario Sunshine, where like there was a bunch of new stuff in it, like not even like old stuff like reference in it. Like they just did like they made a new Mario 2D platform, but like no like old characters show up. Maybe you'll have like Luigi, Peach, and maybe like Toad show up, but like everything else was like newish and stuff, like a new tone and stuff like that. Like, and no Bowser either. Like no Bowser.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
had Biff the Blobfish like taking over Mushroom Kingdom or something.
Yeah, I know, and like that's I almost feel like it was kind of a missed opportunity. This is getting a little bit off the rails, but I feel like it was a missed opportunity for them to almost like give it like its own unique series name or something like that. Like it didn't necessarily need to have the country moniker.
Yeah, you could call that something. You could call like Donkey Kong's like trip to the supermarket, and like it still would have been like the game still would have felt really good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know, kind of like getting back to my point about like the retro retcon. You know, like if we look at K. Rool's Final Smash, he's got the Blast-O-Matic from DK64, and like the design, for the most part, is it's very faithful to its original appearance. However, like, you know, like when you compare it to its N64 counterpart, you'll notice that like the head has a little bit of a redesign, and we don't believe that change was just made out of thin air, like you know, you had mentioned.
Yeah,
about, like,
I thought about this like way back, like I think back in like 2019, like late 2018. I realized looking at this, it's like I feel like I've seen, like looking at the Blast-O-Matic, it's like I feel like I've seen that design before somewhere, like it looking like that, and then I'd like search through like the old like any type of DK games. Then I bought the DK King of Swing, and I noticed like, oh, his spaceship at the last end of the game like has like a similar design. Like the head of it has a similar design or color scheme that of the Blast-O-Matic as we see in Smash Ultimate.
Yeah, exactly. Like the what was it called? Like
the crew, which the thing in the King of Swing that was called like the Cruiser.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, exactly. It like it almost looks like they took some elements of that and sort of incorporated it into, you know, the Blast-O-Matic thing. You know, kind of kept that golden head and like the red eyes and stuff like that, but it still like retains elements of the original Blast-O-Matic. Like the crown, it's pretty much unchanged. Still got like the top part of his mouth kind of like hanging out over and all that. So, you know, like once again we have a clash of sort of like old and new designs, and that seems to, it's gonna be again like it's gonna be kind of like a running theme throughout this. Now, I'm going to immediately counteract that point by saying, we have DK Island in the final Smash, which is not a blend of designs. Retro's design for the DK Island was very much just an island.
Yeah.
It doesn't really exude, oh, this is Donkey Kong Island, DK Island in Rare's games was just straight up DK's head. And, we have that here as well.
Yeah, but going back to the island in Returns, the island in Returns Travel Priest was unfortunately, it felt like generic, island stigma. Because, the DK, I don't know why there was, this stigma of, not reusing that much of, Rare's ideas when it came to, building the retro studio games. Because, the Donkey Kong head gave it, a bit more personality, even though it wasn't that much, but you could tell there was some personality going on with the original design. But they were probably just oh, Rare did it, so I just made an island, nothing else.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It was almost like they tried to sidestep all of Rare stuff, but I think they're kind of realizing now that that is the identity for Donkey Kong though, for a lot of people, those Rare Donkey Kong games, and they're kind of bringing that back. And again, Smash is the Kingmaker. It almost feels like this stuff might be the standard moving forward. That DK head design for that island, that might just be what we get moving forward, And
I would be very ecstatic to have that, because I love the old design a lot.
Yeah, me too, exactly. And yeah. They've even got kind of the old school treehouse there as well too. It's definitely not based off of Retro's Donkey Kong.
Yeah, that tree. It's funny going back to the Smash design of the DK Island. It's what is that treehouse on the right side? It feels like it's supposed to be maybe I bet they saw where Angry Aztec was placed on DK64. I think it was on the left side of the island, where you go, that's how you activate Angry Aztec, or that certain type of access point to get there. But it's weird, it's a treehouse of some sort on the left side instead. It's not a full on it's not the Angry Aztec thing, which is funny because on the Blastomatic they still retain the doors or entry points to get into Frantic Factory and Gloomy Galleon in DK64. They retain those doors and stuff, so it's very interesting to see that they didn't just redesign, they just didn't copy and paste the Angry Aztec thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, kind of like you mentioned, that Blastomatic is pretty much 1-to-1, so it's interesting they kind of changed that up a bit, but that makes me wonder was there a reason for that? Was that just creative liberties, or maybe they had some kind of reference material for something coming up? I don't know.
And I think it's a good way to segue there too, in terms of stuff they had in the planning or references that don't you know that back in 2018, the same direct that gave us obviously K. Rool's Return, we also got Simon Belmont and Richter confirmed, and in their trailer Luigi starred in the trailer for a bit, and you notice that Luigi was actually using the Luigi's Mansion 3 Poltergust with the plunger, and at this time we had no idea Luigi's Mansion 3 was even a thing. That was a few months later they announced it in that September direct.
Yeah, exactly. Smash kind of seems to have a little bit of a history of almost hinting and teasing and throwing stuff out there from games that might maybe either haven't been announced yet or are coming later down the line. Smash 4 did something similar like that with Yoshi's Woolly World. It got a stage, and Yoshi's Woolly World didn't come out till it was what, a year or something?
And it's kind of sad because that stage was supposed to be a Kirby's Epic Yarn stage, but then they were oh, we gotta advertise Woolly. Yeah, that's true.
Wow.
Yeah. So they were oh, gotta advertise the product.
Yeah.
Get out of there. Modern Kirby, can't have that in Smash. Brush it aside.
Oh man, yeah, I wasn't even aware of that, but yeah. Then of course we had Pit's redesign from Brawl, which ended up carrying over to Uprising, although that may have just been a little bit of carryover from Sakurai's involvement in both of those titles. He directed both of them, but even still, it's Smash showing things that eventually came to life later on down the line.
I guess also Mega Man. Mega Man's modern design, when you see, I think in the recent Mega Man game, his design is actually kind of based on the Smash iteration of Mega Man as well.
Yeah, so, Smash is the Kingmaker, man.
It's pretty much. So, let's go to, I guess we could transition to our next topic, which obviously is a pretty big, pretty like very hint-worthy. Like we're gonna talk about like the Mario Odyssey references that were placed in New Donk City. So I'm sure everyone was like excited to see New Donk City the first time, but then people noticed as like the press got more footage of the game of like Mario Odyssey, they noticed like, oh, there's a bunch of DK references around this whole city. And interesting enough, there's these signposts that had all these names of these characters that were from Rare's Donkey Kong. Like we had Dixie Street, like Diddy Avenue, like stuff like that. We had even like Animal Buddies reference, like Espresso, and like even like Radley and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, it's all very interesting, especially because, you know, when you consider a lot of the characters and things that they referenced in New Donk City are things that hadn't even appeared in Donkey Kong games for like the decade prior to Mario Odyssey. So it's kind of funny that like all these characters are finally being referenced again, but it's in a Mario game.
And it's funny with that too, because K. Rool Street was also a street name as well. And it's really funny how there was a Mario Odyssey commercial before the game came out that had like Mario dancing in New Donk City with a bunch of people. And you know what signposts they actually used in the commercial? They put K. Rool Street in the commercial actually, in some sort of tease, because this was like a month before K was announced for Ultimate, because Odyssey came out like in like October 2017. So this is like a while before like K. Rool was like revived. But this was like I felt like it was like some sort of like tease, like overall for like Donkey Kong stuff, and like that was like a tease for like he was coming back towards the Smash, and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm with you there too. And like, you know, by this point they would have known like, you know, the popularity of K. Rool and all that from the Smash ballots. So I think they knew what they were doing there. They're aware of you know, how much people love the old school Donkey Kong Country stuff. And you know, like it's interesting too, because you know, I was kind of looking over all the street names and stuff like that, and like all of the Animal Buddies referenced on like the street signs and stuff like that are from Donkey Kong Country 2, or Donkey Kong Country 1, I mean. Ugh, wow, fumbling words. I think they're all mentioned except for Winky.
Yeah, for some reason they opted to go for Radley as a reference to the Winky.
Yeah, exactly, which is kind of like, that's a little strange. And you know, like the way that, you know, like Radley pretty much replaced Winky in Donkey Kong Country 2. You know, so like that kind of makes me wonder, like, you know, are these characters being referenced? Are they planning to bring these characters back in a way? Maybe they're choosing to bring Radley back over Winky. I don't know, but like,
I feel like if they wanted to bring back both, they would have to like redesign Radley in a way, because like Winky is the original like jumping high like Animal Buddy. So if they wanted to like have both of them coexist with one another, they would have to like make Radley more of like, I don't know how they could design to make him like distinct than Winky, but I'm sure like they could find like a way to get it to work.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, also on the topic of Radley, he it's interesting to note that he had a spelling change to his name, just a slight tweak. They added an E at the you know, just before the Y at the end of his name. You know, it's kind of like, why would they change that? what would be the point in changing that, unless maybe they're planning to do something with him moving forward? I don't know.
Yeah, it's also like a very interesting detail in terms of like the references. Yeah, but obviously EPD definitely showing their love for Donkey Kong in some way. It could have been like tease, or maybe it's potential hints of like what's gonna happen like in a few days at the time of this recording, like right here.
Yeah, exactly. You know, you never know.
So this next one, I actually never thought about this until like I looked back into like this game for like potential hints, because once I was like noticing like some stuff with the references, like, oh my god, maybe this has like keys, like this has like hints. Like the tinfoil hat is now extended. Like, you ever see Doug Dimmadome? That is how high the tinfoil hat is right now for this. So the game that we're gonna be talking about now for this topic is Mario plus Rabbids, the Donkey Kong expansion that was made for that game. So during the development of this DLC expansion, I remember there was one interview when talking about the expansion that that Ubisoft themselves reached out to Nintendo's quote-unquote Donkey Kong team for references to make this very, very expansive DLC, as you could see. But it's very interesting that they had to like state that it was a dedicated Donkey Kong team instead of just like, oh, it's just like we worked with more of the Mario team. No, but they mentioned Donkey Kong specifically in this interview. And it's very interesting to like note.
Yeah, exactly, because like Nintendo hasn't really had like a specific like Donkey Kong dedicated team for a long time. Donkey Kong has kind of been floating for a while. Like, yeah, he kind of landed at Retro for a little bit, but it obviously hasn't been a very stable home there.
Yeah, it's like Nintendo developers, when it came to like Donkey Kong, it was like a babysitter. It's like, all right, Retro Studios, you gotta watch Donkey Kong. It's like, oh man, all right, I'll watch him for a bit, and then it's like, oh, get him over. That's what it feels like. That's what it felt like in the 2000s with DK. It's like, oh, you gotta watch him now.
Yeah.
Namco, let him play with some bongos for a bit. Let's see how he enjoys that.
Exactly, and so yeah, it's an interesting detail that like they specifically were in touch with a dedicated Donkey Kong team, and it's even more interesting that what we ended up getting were tons of rare Donkey Kong Country references and nods in this Donkey Kong adventure. We have all these different weapons that are very clearly based off of Donkey Kong Country 1 Animal Buddies. 3 out of the 5 of them haven't even been represented in Donkey Kong games for like a long time.
Yeah, and it's very funny too, because initially they were trying to get DK to use the coconut gun from DK64, but then Miyamoto opted for them to use the banana weapon that he has now in the game. So to show that it was like an idea in their heads shows it's like, okay, they definitely had that game. They definitely have Rare's DK on the mind. And
again, that makes me wonder, well, who is this dedicated Donkey Kong team that they're referring to? All the rumors going around about EPD, being in charge of development for this new Donkey Kong game. It makes me wonder if they so happen to be in talks with this specific team, and they're getting all this rareware Donkey Kong stuff. Like, are they using Rare's stuff for this new game? I don't know. It seems likely.
That doesn't also like help that Grant Kirkhope himself composed the main game, and now he was brought back to compose another track for this expansion pack, which was actually a remix of Donkey Kong Isles Hub World from DK64 as well. So,
kind of, I guess going back to like the Animal Buddy weapons, it's interesting that like the 3 Animal Buddies, being On Guard, Espresso, and Winky, who haven't appeared in Donkey Kong games in forever, had some slight like design differences between their weapons and like the actual character models.
Yeah, because if you notice On Guard, usually when you see On Guard, like in at least DKC 1 or 2 renders, like you notice how On Guard has like a yellowish underbelly, which has been consistent like ever since, like even during the Pion days, like he's been like brighter blue, but like he still kept that underbelly. But if you look on the weapon depicted in the DK Adventure expansion pack, you notice he has like a whitish underbelly compared to like his previous incarnations. So it's very interesting to see if this was just simply a color choice by the devs, or were they strictly told to like make his stomach look like that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and like in all of the depicted media, that has On Guard, he's got that like yellowish underbelly, and it's an interesting design difference. It makes me wonder, like, is he going to be getting some kind of design for this upcoming game? Maybe that's what's going on there. Maybe
this is what it's come to for Donkey Kong speculation. First, we're talking about mechanical, like hardware, like mine carts, to what's it called? Like, what else have we talked about? Theme parks, and now we're discussing the type of posture of marine life.
The color of a weapon's underbelly, which may not even have anything to do with the actual character.
It's like, listen, man, if Sonic fans could dissect like a 5-second teaser trailer, then Donkey Kong fans could have like anything that like can have like a whole field day dedicated to like a Diddy Kong render that just appeared out of nowhere. Because like, come on, you got to give it to us, guys.
Yeah, it's true,
Also, going a small bit with that Diddy Kong render, I think when K. Rool's like reintroduced, he's gonna have that one jungle climber render, like of him jumping. But it's gonna be modernized to like match his like current like design he has.
Oh,
like I'm calling that right now.
I could definitely see that. I could see them doing that.
It's so funny how much of that pose is a thing, because it's actually when K. Rool jumps in Smash, she actually does that pose.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you might be onto something there.
Yeah, I think it was like Espresso. Not just Unguard, Espresso. Looking at it, he has like more of a pinker beak than his rare design, and along with Winky, compared to like his rare design and even like the Smash trophy that was given to him back in Smash Wii U, his body, like the face doesn't kind of like match like the bug-eyed, like the bulging eye coming out of his body. Like he has more like eyelidish type stuff going on with the weapon design, so it's very interesting.
Yeah, definitely, you know, because like yeah, I was surprised to find that like his Smash 4 trophy and like the pattern that he had was consistent with like his old school you know, kind of renders and stuff. You know, that's something that could easily just be like, you know, here's like a random splotchy pattern or whatever to throw on the frog, but no, it's actually pretty consistent. So like seeing that it's a little more inconsistent with this weapon, again, it kind of plays in hand with like possible design changes to these characters. And you know, maybe this was all based off of reference material that they got from whatever Donkey Kong team that they were in talks with. We might be seeing something similar here to like when Rambi re-debuted in Donkey Kong Country Returns after being absent for a while, because he also saw some design tweaks and changes.
Yeah, and it's funny because Rambi, like the initial pitch for like how he looked in DKC Returns, it looked radically different than how like his compared to the rare design. Like, let me check my concept art. You could unlock this in DKC Returns itself. It does like his design looked vastly different than like it was supposed to in Returns. Like he had like 2 horns and he was like bigger. It's like it was crazy how like radically different he was gonna look. Yeah, we could definitely see like these returning animal buddies have like slight changes to them, how Rambi had slight changes back when he was returned in, well, the Return series. So like to see what happens there. But anyway, on the same topic of reintroducing, in the Rabbids DLC, yeah, we're still on this, by the way, guys. Just keep track. We're still talking about Rabbids. I know, like we've been talking about marine life underbellies like minecarts, but here's where like things get interesting. At least we think it's interesting. But so, in the Rabbids game, or like in the DLC pack, you get Rabbid Peach, but you also get Rabbid Cranky. Now, Rabbid Cranky's design is heavily based around Cranky Kong's rare design, as you can see by like his vest closely resembles earlier renders of Cranky Kong. And he's also depicted with eyebrows, which hasn't been a thing for Cranky Kong ever since like the rare days of DK. Because now when you see Cranky Kong, he doesn't really have that much of the detail you saw like when it came to like Rare's depiction of DK. You just see him with like just the casual like vest, like no textures whatsoever, like instead of a cane, it's a stake. It's like the wooden thing, or whatever. So, yeah, that's all. Yeah, he also, I mean, he did have the glasses too. He kind of had the glasses like in the rare. Yeah, like those small like glasses as well. I think like even in the rare days he did as well.
Yeah, for sure. You know, you mentioned kind of like the vest textures. Like that's very much like a Rareware Donkey Kong sort of thing. And
yeah, it looks a lot like DKC. I think DKC2's vest. I think.
Yeah, sort of, kind of. Like I think he.
I'm about to look at the render right now. Yeah, because I think it literally is the DKC2 Cranky Kong vest. Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, yeah. Let me put it in our nice little like direct message, and like I'll post the picture and then the Rabbid Cranky. So we'll see you'll hear our reactions full time, come to the realization that yes, he has the same fashion sense as Cranky Kong, as you can see right here.
Yep, that's pretty much it. And
it's very curious to think like maybe, just maybe, if they plan on like hypothetically if this new DK game does borrow cues from like older designs, could we potentially maybe see when Dixie Kong returns, she would have the nail polish back on her fingers and toenails, and like even the knee pad she used to have, and maybe give her like a new pin to replace the rare pin or something like that, maybe like an EPD pin or something like that to reference it.
I would love that so much. I was always a bigger fan of her kind of
honestly
more old school design.
She should have had the Retro Studios pin on her, like during the Tropical Freeze. It would have been a nice callback.
Yeah, for real, that would have been awesome. I guess kind of like the final little touch point that we have here for the Mario plus Rabbids thing is that they brought back the Hellavines, which were from Donkey Kong 64. It was kind of their workaround for being able to kind of swing around the environments, I guess. And surprisingly, they kind of made a reappearance in DK Adventure 19 years after Donkey Kong 64. So
yeah, there's like a whole lot of like, especially like it's very curious that they're referencing a lot of DKC1 and also DK64 elements in terms of like this DLC pack. I feel like this might have been like the basis for like how the community or like the public would like react to like the idea of like Donkey Kong like going back into the third dimension again, or like kind of like a test waters type thing. So that's why they probably picked Donkey Kong to represent this expansion DLC, because they literally could have just done like Yoshi Island expansion DLC, have Yoshi and all the baby characters. They could have done something like that, but they chose specifically Donkey Kong despite all that, which is interesting.
Yeah, it's all very interesting. It kind of makes me wonder if the DK's adventure was sort of it kind of acted as a bit of a stopgap, for between Tropical Freeze and this new game, just to give us some kind of Donkey Kong stuff until this new one is finally ready to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's pretty much, all the main points that we wanted to tackle here. Yeah, up to this point, again, we're seeing a lot of references specifically to Donkey Kong Country 1. I feel like this information is, I think it's useful when kind of peering into where they could possibly be skewing the direction for this new game. It almost feels like maybe they're really hearkening back to that original game, which is probably the most iconic of the Donkey Kong Country games. A lot, people consider 2 to be the best, but like 1 is the one that kind of kicked it all off.
Yeah, everyone like knows it. Like when someone thinks of Donkey Kong Country, they always think of like either Super Nintendo or like even like Returns itself, because people, especially people who have grown up like during the GameCube era, like say when they think of Donkey Kong, oh, it's like Donkey Kong Country Returns, or like even DKC1 or even like DK64 people like recall back when they think of Donkey Kong.
I think that's very telling, and like I hope that that doesn't mean that like they're only like they're basically just making Donkey Kong's New Country, just loading it up with only references to that first game, because I mean Returns kind of already did something sort of similar.
I feel like it's gonna be like, I guess like it's gonna be like DK in terms of like the presentation. It's gonna be more like, because it wants to be like, it's gonna be another reintroduction to Donkey Kong for a new like generation of gamers. So they want to like keep that like type of presentation they had back when they first released DKC1 back in 1994, with all like, they want to have it like more of like a familiar type aesthetic when it comes to like the presentation. So that's why having like a bunch of assets and like characters from DKC1 would really fit the tone of like this reintroduction.
Yeah, I think so too. And I could totally see like even just taking a lot of these ideas and then just applying new ideas and concepts to, like all of this familiar stuff, I think would go a long way in sort of reintroducing all of this, as opposed to just kind of, only rehashing what worked before and playing it safe. Like, I think, doing something new with it would be the way to go.
Yeah, so overall, hopefully if you're still there, you haven't clicked on like, I guess like Arlo's new video. So anyway, if there's one thing we could get out of all this, is that Nintendo seems to have like had a full-on eye-opener ever since like the K. Rool's like performance in the Smash ballot. Like they really want to start utilizing these rare Donkey Kong characters, as they should have been doing like ever since like the buyout, but they never felt like people really wanted these characters back. They truly like had like a fan base, or like they had love beforehand. But now, after the big smackaroonie that was the Smash ballot, they definitely are rethinking some stuff, or like reconstructing how they should present Donkey Kong from this point forward.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And like, we're seeing a lot of these things already coming to life through, the various media and games and content and things that that Donkey Kong has been included in over the past couple of years between DK Adventure and Smash. We're seeing the rare heyday re-emerging here. in the modern times.
Which is very exciting. Like, it's crazy how Donkey Kong has had such like an interesting eras of some sort. Like the 90s was like the golden age, and then 2000s was like parental Donkey Kong issues in like some 2000s to 2010s, and then 2010s was like the kind of like a saving grace of like, it was kind of like if you were like reaching out from air, like after being submerged in something, for being submerged in water for so long, like gasping for air, like, okay, you got some stuff, you got DKC Return Shuffle Freeze, there you go. You know, it should have been Metroid right here. You guys, get your game. Let's go get it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I don't know. I guess, do you have any other kind of closing thoughts here? I think we pretty much hit everything.
I will say to people who are watching, try to keep, we're obviously, this whole video is just like speculating and stuff. So try to like over expect, like keep your expectations in check. Cause I don't want like Jimmy 54 like talking, saying like, oh, well, Uncle Alan, this idiot said this was gonna be in here. I feel cheated. This is 1.5, not 2. This is not 3D. This is 1.5. Like, what are you doing? Like, why would you guys do this? Why would you lie on the internet? Like, who does that?
Yeah, exactly. You know, we definitely don't want to be setting expectations up in any kind of way, because we don't even know what to expect, really. This is all just very speculative, but it does definitely feel like there might be a strong base to at least, you know, some of the things that we've talked about here today. You know, I think that I could definitely see them hearkening back somewhat to kind of Donkey Kong's heyday, you know. But yeah, I don't know. I guess that will have to be something that we just have to wait and see.
So definitely these next few days are going to be very interesting until Judgment Day. I'm already thinking of two possible outcomes, either like, oh, it should have been 3D, or like, oh, not Mario Odyssey 2. Man, where's my Mario game? Mario's been trying, like, 3D World, I already beat that in 5 days. Where's my new Mario game? Like, Odyssey 2? Galaxy 2 had to be a thing. It has to be Odyssey 2. See, that's the thing I don't get when people expect, like, Odyssey 2 should be a thing. I feel like if it wasn't for Galaxy 2, there wouldn't be that much, like, pressure to, like, have sequels for like these mainline Mario games, because I think Galaxy 2 was planned to be like this expansion for Galaxy, but obviously Nintendo's hardware wasn't really packing the heat for DLC around that time, so they decided, oh, let's just make it a full-on new game instead of just like add-on content, because we obviously are a decade behind in terms of that technology. So let's just make Galaxy 2.
Yeah, you know, Odyssey was great, but you know, a sequel would kind of be more of the same kind of stuff. You know, we've kind of already been there a little bit, and I'm sure they would implement plenty of new ideas. Yeah, but
I feel like a 3-day DK would do so good for the brand, especially for like bringing new people, and like obviously the diehard Donkey Kong fans will be like very excited to see such like Donkey Kong at the front point again as he was back in the 90s. It really gives like a sense of like excitement, but also gives like a sense of like, but what if this happens? Like, what if like it has people like, you know, the 3D Donkey Kong, you know, I want another 3D Mario, you know? It's like stuff like that. It's
right, like, yeah. And, you know, that's always, that's kind of been how I've sort of been looking at it, too. Like, sure, a new 2D game would be great. And, like, I don't think that people necessarily are being malicious or anything like that when they say, like, you know, oh, 2D, oh, I don't want another 2D game. It's more just, like, it's craving something new and exciting, whereas, like, a 2D game we've had plenty of, you know, over the years. Not just from DK, but, you know, from plenty of other Nintendo series as well, so.
I was about to make a Kirby joke right there, then like Kirby fan scene, like, first time
But
also, I don't hate Kirby, guys, don't worry. Like, literally my icon is Rick the Hamster, so obviously if I had such a vendetta against Kirby, he wouldn't be there, so it's okay.
So yeah, I guess we'll kind of close it out here. You know, thanks for joining me, Skips. I hope I can edit this down and make it feel a little more concise than I.
Yeah, feel a bit consistent.
Yeah.
The hiccup there. Kitty Kong drama, you know, you have to iron out the pieces, like find out where we need to talk about on Guard's stomach, you know, those are the important details we had to iron out to ensure that you guys got the best amount of content for this speculation, you know.
That's right. I guess we'll see how that goes in post. But yeah, if you guys, have any details that maybe we didn't go over that you've noticed yourself, feel free to leave them in the comments below. I'm looking forward to hearing all sorts of Donkey Kong thoughts and theories and speculation from all of you. But I guess, we got, less than 2 weeks now until E3, so I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see if...
And hey, who knows, maybe when everything is said and done, people will come back to this video and say, man, these guys are completely wrong about...
Man, these guys were so far off the mark.
Yeah. There's clearly that 3D Chibi Robo. Yeah, that's what they were teasing the whole time. That Donkey Kong stuff we heard. A Chibi Robo wears Donkey Kong's head if you scan the amiibo that you have to pay $15 for the expansion for the new Chibi Donkey mode.
Donkey Kong Jr. Math 2. What the heck? How did we get here?
Algebra, see? They're gonna announce Donkey Kong Jr. for... Yeah, and it's not even like a new model. It's just like the pixelated thing they had for like Mario Kart Tour. It's not even like new DK Jr.
For real. Alright, well, we'll go ahead and cap it off here. Thanks for watching, everybody. I guess until next time, bye-bye.